Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy. Here are some questions to ask if you are in a relationship with an anxiously attached individual and you're not sure if you want to stay or not. The first question you need to ask is, how much self-awareness does my partner have into their own anxious responses? Do they recognize what their triggers are, and do they understand how their anxiety escalates? That can be from baseline to a low-level anxious situation, or from an anxious situation to a high-level anxiety situation where their emotions become kind of unruly or they seem disproportionate to the situation that they are in. The second question you need to ask is, does my partner have the ability to self-regulate? So if they have self-awareness, are they then able to regulate their emotions and self-soothe? Can they begin to de-escalate, and then are they able to do so in a healthy manner and in a healthy time? The third question you need to ask is, when my partner has an anxious response, and if they are going from a baseline to a high anxiety or a baseline to a moderate anxiety, what impact does that have on my emotional system? Do I feel triggered? Do I feel that I need to change who I am or how I act around them in order to adapt to their mood? Or do we have effective communication and we are actually in a stable point in our relationship where we can moderate to one another and de-escalate together so that both of our moods come back down into stabilization and I am not in a constant response to my partner's swings? When you ask these three questions, the fourth thing that you need to consider is, if my partner is going through a high escalation to a de-escalation, and that's pretty constant, what is contributing in our relationship that may be within my control that we can work on together to change in order to then reduce the amount of swings? Because an anxious attachment doesn't always have to do with the partner and their own internal anxious triggers. It can also be a situational trigger that occurs specifically in the romantic relationship. So pay attention to what is occurring within your dynamic that may be contributing to the partner having a really high anxious response that is not occurring in their other relationships.